Hallelujah. Christ in you. Okay. Tonight, we appreciate God for the gift of life and for the opportunity to be under His feet and to listen to His word. We pray that He take absolute control over whatever we are going to do. That whatever purpose for which He has gathered us will be fulfilled. His word says that no one comes to His presence and leaves the same. Tonight, may we not leave the same. May we be refined for this course of understanding, brotherly love, and love as healing. We thank you in Jesus' name. Amen. Okay. The song that we sang, the very part that I'm interested in is give us a fresh understanding of love. Let that love sweep over us. Most of the time when we hear the word love, the first thing that comes to mind is the feeling. The feeling that someone has towards another person. But it goes beyond that. Amen. As a Vice President said, this program is a ministry initiative. They want us to understand what love is and other aspects of relationships. So they gave us a lot of topics, and your leadership chose 3 out of the lot. One is before I say I do, and the second one is love or infatuation, and the last one is discerning the will of God. But for that one, I'll not really delve down into it. I'll just give you a little aspect of it. I've rather added another topic from the list, learning to say no when you have to. And this goes really for our ladies. And so we add a bit of that to it. Amen. So before we leave here, we have to decipher between what love is and what infatuation is. Hallelujah. There are 2 different things that we need to understand. Because this presentation has been dealt, the presentation, or let me say the write-up, was done by some people. We have our mommy Priscilla Hagan, who is the lead director's wife. We have our mommy Nsiah, an apostle, a retired apostle's wife. And the other one that I'm going to talk about, learning to say no, was done by Mrs. Bridget and Ophelia. So it's not entirely my work. I've just gone through it. If I have to add something, I'll add to it. Okay, so let's go on. Love or infatuation. The one who presented this paper gave us a wonderful scenario. I want to read it. So listen carefully. I believe after reading it, you can give me the answer. Once upon a time, there was a young man and a young lady. The young man thought the young lady was amazingly beautiful, and he loved her. He couldn't stop thinking about her and wanted her to be his. He tried his best to let his feelings for her bubble down. This didn't work. Still, the battle raged within him, and he couldn't take it anymore. His physical attractions to her was so great, and even though he knew it was wrong, he devised a plan to get a girl into his bed with the help of his friend. She wasn't that kind of girl, and he knew it. But as the story goes, he got her into his bed and made love to her. His physical aches seemed to be satisfied, but the love he had for her immediately turned into hatred. Something changed as soon as he could. He sent the girl away in tears, ashamed and broken. Hallelujah. Have you heard this story before? Can someone tell me where the story comes from? Yes. Oh. Can someone tell me? Another one? Okay. Someone is trying to raise the hand, but the hand is not coming up. Once upon a time, there was a young man and a young lady. The young man thought the lady was amazingly beautiful, and he loved her. He couldn't stop thinking about her and wanted her to be his. He tried his best to let his feelings for her bubble down. This didn't work. Still, the battle raged within him, and he couldn't take it anymore. His physical attraction to her was great, and even though he knew it was wrong, he devised a plan to get the girl into his bed with the help of his friend. She wasn't that kind of girl, and he knew it. But as the story goes, he got her into his bed and made love to her. His physical ache seemed to be satisfied, but the love he had for her immediately turned into hatred. Something changed. As soon as he could, he sent the girl away in tears, ashamed and broken. Oh, this is a wonderful hand. Okay. 2 Samuel chapter 30. Who can tell me what the story that is there? It's about women. I want the personalities. Tamar. And who? There's another person. Wait. There's a story of Ammon and Tamar. 2 Samuel chapter 13. This is a scenario that differentiates clearly between what is love and what is infatuation. The guy had a strong feeling towards the lady, and he couldn't do anything at all. His mind was set to get this girl. Every action that he took was geared towards getting this girl. And he did that through his friend. He had a bad friend who also influenced him and helped him to get the lady to have something to do with him. But as soon as he was able to satisfy his desires, that love, that seemed to be there, turned into hatred. The love ceased. He couldn't continue any longer. Why? Because all that he wanted was to satisfy his passion. It was a very short moment. And so this, even though there is an emotion, there is a feeling attached to it, it is not love. Because infatuation and love all have some emotions attached to it, or some feelings attached to it. Sometimes, if you are not careful, you will judge wrongly. And so that is what we want to do today. We want to look at the differentiation. The differentiation. So first, let's look at what love is. There's something little about love, infatuation. Then we look at the distinction. Love is understood to be an affection that one has towards the other of the opposite sex. So it's an affection, it's a feeling, it's an emotion, it's a desire that someone has towards the opposite sex. Tonight we are just looking at what is the real, what should I use? We are not looking at the LGBT stance, where the opposite sex has strong feelings towards the other. No, we are not looking at that. We are looking at a man to a woman. That is what we are looking at. So we are not going there at all. So the strong feeling that we have, the affection that we have towards the opposite sex. But in this love, it happens between a mature male and a mature female, for the sake of which they dare to bring themselves into one another's lives as husband and wife. So this love is geared towards settling down or coming together as husband and wife. That is why most of the times when I present on a relationship, I ask if the relationship in which you are, what is the goal? What is your mindset? Is it geared towards marriage? If not, and you are just in a relationship, then it is not a Christian walk, or it's not what you are supposed to engage in. This relationship you are looking at the one that you are looking forward to marry, settle down as a husband and wife. So that affection that exists between the opposite sex, that is what we are talking about now. Love can have a lot of components. So we have the decision components, we have the emotional components. It all encompasses in love. And when you love someone, you decide to do it. You decide to choose that person. So it's parts. There's an emotion attached. There is a feeling. There is a desire attached. There is a relational component. You want to get closer to the person. There should be something going on between the two of you. We also have a sacrificial component. Sometimes you sacrifice your lecture so that you can meet the person. Sometimes you sacrifice your food for the person. For this one, the men only do it. Sometimes they are hungry. They have their last 5 Ghana cedis or 10 Ghana. They're not eating. But this lady is coming to visit. They will get something nice with the money and give it to the lady and they will go hungry. After that, they will go to their friends and get some sugar and just enjoy. So there is that kind of sacrificial component. Sometimes there is something that you need to gain out of what you are doing, but because of the other party, you try to let go. So love encompasses all these things. That the giving component, it's also parts. And also there is another component that is the forgiving component. They are all parts. They are all parts of love. You can't love without these things. You can't love without being sacrificial, without giving, without forgiving, without having any emotion towards the person. It cannot be possible. Okay. So now it says, simply put, love is not emotions, and emotions are not love per se. In that sense, love cannot be taken to be just feelings. So all these things are parts. You can't just like, I love this girl, but I can't sacrifice. I can't give anything. No. It's not only about the feeling. And yet, at incoming corner, there are a lot of things attached, as I have mentioned, a lot of components. So, if the person, you say you love the person so much, if the person hurts you, you have to be able to forgive the person. You don't have to repay the person what the person has done. Sometimes you have to sacrifice, but you have to go through for the person. So it is not only about feelings or emotions and desires. It has a lot of components. So that is the little thing that we can talk about love. What love is. There are a lot of things that this is the little thing that tonight I will talk about in terms of love. Let's move on to infatuation. Infatuation is a short-lived passion or emotion. From the story that I read, the moment he was able to satisfy his desires, that feeling vanished. I don't see any tata. Now, when you just accepted the person, you couldn't control yourself. Then you had sex. Just after that, you don't even hear about him again. As if nothing went on between the two of you. We should tell you that that is infatuation, it is not love. Hallelujah. So tonight, you have to know that love is short-lived. That passion is just for a short period. I remember back in school, we invited a lot of people to talk about relationships, and one of them, that Reverend and Chief Prophet, he said love lasts for only 6 months. That was his description. After 6 months, now it's a relation. It can be shorter than that. But the person can follow you. When the person does what the person likes, I am. So it's very short. That's a very remarkable characteristic that you have to put down or notice. It's very short-lived. It shows itself in a sudden feeling of admiration and liking for someone. Assuming you just saw this gentleman today. Some kind of intense desire for this gentleman. You You don't know the person, you are not a friend to the person. Which is a very unique relationship, but there's that strong desire for this person. You have to know that this is not love. Love, we talk about it, but let me check on this. Love is progressive. I think I'm sure women as a roommate, women as a coursemate, women as a schoolmate, women as a neighbor, gradually get to know the person. The desire gradually unfolds. But if it is just a short something that the desire becomes so intense that sometimes you can't even control yourself, then you know that it is not love. Tell your friend it is not love. Infatuation works on the part of emotions, and since love also has an emotional component, the two phenomena bring some form of confusion. Bring some form of confusion sometimes. Sometimes it's confusion because it also has an aspect of emotions, just like love. We talked about the components. I hope you call them the components of love. So infatuation also has some sort of emotions. And so if you're able to decipher between the two, you'll be confused. The question then is how young people can distinguish between these two concepts and not be fooled. How can we distinguish between these two concepts? And we want to move on to that. It's simplified here. So I'll read them and at times I'll add some flesh to it. If I need to ask some questions, I'll ask. Then we move on. The first point is infatuation wants its now and now. But love is patient. Tell your friend, love is patient. And I also wrote this quotation down, 1 Corinthians chapter 13, verse 4 to 8. The Bible talks about love there. Get some qualities of love there, so you can read it. You can also write a 2 Samuel 13 down. Let you know what infatuation is in that story too. Okay, so let's move on. Infatuation was now and now. So as we read from the story, or as we listened to the story, Ammon was ready and he was into it. He wanted it now from the sister. It was something that he was ready to have it, no matter what he pays for. If you continue the story, it was something, it wasn't pleasant at all. The aftermath of it wasn't pleasant. But he just wanted it, that is all. So sometimes, let's be patient. Let's give time to our relationships. Let's give time. When someone comes to you to ask, let me say, propose to you, but at times, if you are not sure, if you have not prayed over it, if you are not convinced, give some time. Hallelujah. But that doesn't mean that the person will be there up to 2 years or 1 year on 10. So please, you understand it, right? The ladies, do you understand it? Okay. Okay. The second one says, infatuation loses sight of the bigger picture. Love is always conscious. So look at Ammon. He didn't look at what would happen after having sex with the sister. After getting the link that he was intensely in love with. Oh, I know you. Okay. He didn't look at the bigger picture. Someone who would have been a king. Someone who could have inherited something precious at the palace. He didn't look at that. He just looked at satisfying his desires. But love looks at the bigger picture. It looks at, it's also conscious. It's conscious of what will happen when he or she gets into such a situation. So if you are with someone who doesn't care what happens, He wants the sex now, or she wants it now. He wants this, that. He doesn't look at what will happen later. He or she doesn't look at the future. Just the now. You have to be careful. Hallelujah. It can happen both at the ladies or the gents side. There is no plan, there is nothing. He's just leaving us with this. We need to be careful. The fourth one, infatuation happens instantly. Love is slow. It's a slow process. I shaped it in when I was talking about infatuation. So it's a slow process. And we can attest to that fact, right? Are we here? Has some of us fallen in love before? Hey, oh, haven't you fallen in love before? So in a slow process, maybe the person just met the person, you're going for lectures, you want to sit at the same place, you didn't know the person, but from there you recognize the face. Next time, when it's 12, we are going for this lecture. Are you coming? Gradually, you get to know his room or her room. And after when a number, then the text messages and the WhatsApp. Gradually, you know where he stays after school. Gradually, so it's a process. It's a process. You know, my husband and I met when we were going for evangelism. We are going for house to house evangelism. And we were paired to go for that evangelism. In fact, I didn't know him. He also didn't know me. This is my provider. I don't even know whether I really took note of him. He didn't even carry the man. Maybe I'm going to say we are dancing and I'm going to provide. It didn't come back. It was at the beginning of something. It was the beginning of something. So gradually. Hallelujah. So it's not something that just happens instantly. Now what will happen? I said love at first sight. I don't know if anyone has an experience or who wants to share. Love at first sight. Is it real? Is it real? Oh, some kind of way. I'm not experiencing, so if you have an experience, you are learning. It's a love summit. You want to know what love is and what love is not, so that you can help each other. So don't be shy. Love at first sight. Does anyone have an experience here? That's why so we don't want to practical. Some of them are chasing. Please open up. We are all learning. Okay. Infatuation creates physical affection. When people say, hey, oh shit, I'm a gentleman, just a body, or 6 packs, then I'm not all the qualities. And so that is what the person is looking at. Nothing at all. Physical features, nah. So that's why immediately the person gets it, the person is satisfied. It should go beyond that. Yes, the person may attract you physically, but that is not what should force you to be with the person. Me, I was very slow. Channeling, tell me now. I'm trying to, but still not crying. Especially the women. When you give birth 1, 2, 3, 4, sometimes you go beyond. Unless it's divine grace, then you remain how you are. So physical features can attract. It's good. But it shouldn't be the mark, the hallmark, the desire. No. If you do that, you fail. There's a sign. Now, if you cry, just when you do, should go beyond that. Amen. Okay, so let's move on. It makes you act irrationally. Sorry, let me add this to the physical craving for the infatuation. When you go to the love aspect, love creates for a deeper connection. The person wants to get closer to you, to be like, what word should I use? Or something like that. If the person doesn't hear about you for a week, he's not okay or she's not okay. But then checking up on you. How is your status? How is your home? All those things. Not just seeing your physical body and the person is satisfied. No. All those is a deeper connection. A deeper one. I remember when we started dating, that was when Tigo number 1 came. Did you hear of it? Tigo number 1. Oh, Nsiah. You know, the chips, at least Tigo was affordable, so most of the students. Tigo number 1. You know, this one, it was a promotion. You choose one number, just one. And that number, I think I've forgotten the price. For the whole month, let me say it's now 95 cedis or something. And you can hold that number at any time, any minute, any second, no limit. Who are you, baby? It's in your one day. Then daddy told me that, oh, my aunt go number 1, and it's not as well for so it's fun. I mean, when you get to know the person, a lot of things about the person, and there's a body features in the moment, you want to get deeply connected to the person. Okay. It acts irrational or crazy, but love calms down. Certain things have happened between the two of you. But if it is an infatuation, the person acts irrationally. I don't know the examples to do that. And I hope you get what I'm trying to say. But love calms down. When you say we pay God on open, doesn't mean that you should do things that will be extreme. But at the end, you don't even know what to do, you don't know how to apologize. You calm down even though you are hurt, or even though things are not as they're supposed to be. You calm down, relax, and seek for a better way of handling the issues. So that is that. Let's move on. But infatuation is intense, and sure we have talked about that. Infatuation is reckless with emotions. Sometimes they don't care about what you feel. They don't care at all. What they need is to satisfy their desires. If it is not love. So let's look at that. If you are moving with someone who doesn't care about how you feel or what you do, but only cares about getting close to you and doing all sort of things to you, then you have to be careful. It will not end well. So please, let's look at that. But love is more considerate. Love is more considerate. He considers what is good for you, what is best for you, what will give you a better end, or a better result, or something that will help you, not what he or she will only gain. Infatuation brings out obsession and jealousy. Even if the person sees someone closer to you, the person is jealous. And that's not going to be I mean, because he thinks otherwise or she thinks otherwise. They are gentlemen, forgive me. I think I'm using he by both sides. So forgive them. He's obsessed with you. Just an obsession on who you as what Ammon did. But love brings out understanding and trust. But you see, you are working with a gentleman. Maybe you have they're giving you a coursework that you have to do together. Or maybe you don't understand and you need a person to explain to you. So you have to meet, sit, and discuss it maybe for a longer period. Because it's for a period, for a reason. And let's say you don't want to pick. But someone, if you don't pick, it's like you are someone that you don't want him or her to know. It becomes another issue altogether. No. Love is considerate. Yes, it is important that she does it or he does that. And so, why should I think or have ulterior motives? So some of the differences, it's a lot. I'll add the last 4 and we'll drop it there so that we move on. Otherwise, you're better papa. Okay, infatuation is reckless with our emotions. Okay, I've talked about that. Infatuation has ulterior motives. Love has genuine intentions. Or then they will come now. Sometimes it's this, all sort of things. And you will get into it. But now, so let's look at that. Let's be discerning. Let's read into things that happen in our lives or with us and the opposite sex, so that you will not be fooled. As I said initially, people will not too late. But love is genuine. It has a genuine intention. Even if the person is offering any help, it is not to take advantage of you. It is not to take an advantage. Okay. Infatuation is shallow and love is deep. It talks about the deep connection. So I'm not going with it. Infatuation is selfish and draining. Love is kind and energizing. I want to talk about this phrase. Infatuation is selfish and draining. Sometimes you enter into a relationship that is like, it has taken up everything about you. Your time, your thoughts, everything about you. Sometimes your resources. As a relationship, not a job, it is draining you physically, spiritually, everything, sometimes socially. Because of that person, you don't even associate with others. Only now you've cried, you don't have friends again. But that is not you. That is not you. So let's look at that. If you are in a relationship that is like everything about you it's draining you and true, you have to reconsider it. Because it's not going to help. Especially our ladies fall victim to this. So please, let's look at that. If you're in a relationship that has such characteristics, and well, love is kind and energizing. If it is genuine love, it even gives you that enthusiasm to do what you have to do more and more. But you have that energy to do things more and more. If your own part is shambles, or something. It's just a scenario. It pushes you to learn more, to do more, to enrich yourself more. But if the relationship you are in doesn't help you in that aspect, I would say you have to look at it. Let me add this last one then. Let's end this one here. Infatuation makes a big deal out of small things. It is nothing important. But since it's not love, since it's not, love is not selfish. It gives out instead. Since it's not love, the person makes a big deal out of every single thing that happens between the two of you. As I said, even when the person sees you working with someone, cry, opposite sex, where you are saying, look up and be a home. So please, let's be clear. But love lets them go. Even if you hurt the person, or you do something that is not acceptable because of the love the person has for you, the person lets go, redeem, and move on. So I'll end it here. We have a lot of comparison that maybe a challenge the other aspects that we want to. So let me end that one here. Let's read the conclusion. These lessons come so clear to us in the illustration story between Ammon and Tamar, as I said. So Ammon acted under infatuation. It wasn't love. It was short-lived. It was intense. Just getting the physical things that he needed. And after that, there was hatred. And it can happen to us if we are not careful. The person will be all around you. All around you. And when the person gets what he or she wants, away. And there is no going to happen. So, young ladies and young men, let's be very careful. Sometimes you shouldn't just be moved when someone tells you, I love you. I love you well, Nsiah, no one do good. Oh, I come back to see you. Not just a name, happy in our system. It shouldn't be so. If the person says, I like them, the person loves you genuinely. It's a phrase that can be used. So, if someone tells you, I love you, don't let it eat into your head. And because of that, act recklessly. Please. So please, it shouldn't be something that's sufficient for you to give the person your mind, your heart, your body, whatever it is. No, it shouldn't be so. Please, I love you is just a phrase. Unless you have seen beyond the I love you that this person really cares about you and wants the best for you. Amen. I'll end the love and infatuation. If you have any question, put it down so that we ask it together. I'm done. So let's go to the second one. Before I say I do, but here I'm using the script as I told you the indirect traits gave. So you determine the final check before you say I do. What you have to check finally. That is what we want to do at. Okay. So marriage is designed by God. That is one thing that we have to understand. Our it's not something that the devil planned for mankind or humanity planned for mankind. It is God Himself. Tell your friend, God Himself. So it is something that He wants us to get into. Let me put it in that way. He is interested in it because He did it for us. And He knew that it's going to help us. That is why He instituted marriage for us. So He'll be able to start from there and not see marriage as only something that is planned and well. But it's something divine. God has purpose of mankind. Then, right from there, you know what to do. First, you want to ask yourself, do you understand the biblical concept of marriage? You want to marry. You want to say, yes, I do. I take you as my husband. Then I will have you the pen. Or what can you pass or you want to do now? Or what can you do? So that you are fasting all those times. Before you say that I do. Do you understand? What's your name? Do you understand marriage? So you have to know the biblical concept of it. You can put these quotations down. You don't read it, but you can put it down, you can read it later. Genesis 2 verse 18 to 25. Genesis 2 verse 18 to 25. Proverbs 18 verse 22. Proverbs 18 verse 22. And 19 verse 14. And 19 verse 14 as follows. So you can read it to you get to your mistake. You have to understand that concept biblically. In your relationship, is your relationship with Christ solid? Since it is a biblical and is only instituted it, then you have to also check your relationship with Christ. If you are living your life anyhow, if you are living your life as you please, then when you enter into marriage, it is going to be difficult for both of you. Because as we have come to Christ, we can't live our lives anyhow, as we please. We live our lives by the standards of Christ, or by the biblical standards. We don't live our lives as we want. So if you want to have a right standing with God, your marriage will be shaky. You can't live or you can't live in that biblical way that God wants you to be in your marriage. Please do you understand? Because there is this thing in marriage, there should be nakedness, absolute trust. If you don't understand this concept, you may marry a Christian couple. It will be a Christian marriage, but there will not be trust. You will hide things from each other. There is this story that the chairman was telling us. There is this person who wanted to have a loan, and he told the chairman that, oh, chairman, they call you loan. He said, oh, I mean, you would have a loan, a soft loan, if you are interested from the church. He said, oh, I've taken one. And the wife is also a worker. He said, oh, then your wife is a worker, a government worker. Tell her to get a loan so that it's easier. So my wife has taken a loan. Then you are also going to take a loan. In addition to what you have taken already, plus your wife's own. And then it's coming in. And he was, when he was asking, he wants to know that the wife is doing her own project. The guy also doing his own project. So they are not in connection to each other. They don't do things in agreement. They are not doing things as one people. Yes, everybody can do a project, but if you agree with each other, because let's do this one first. You understand? After let's go here. What can we with oneness, agreement, trust? So if all these things are not there, if you live your life in such a way, you can't really satisfy the biblical marriage. Because you live however you want. You want to be able to say nothing. So let's understand the concept of marriage, and our relationship with Christ should also be solid. Let's see on one side, the big one. You can write down 1 Corinthians 7, verse 32 to 34. 1 Corinthians chapter 7, verse 32 to 34. And the same 1 Corinthians chapter 15, verse 3 to 4. And he also asks, are you certain? Verse 15, verse 3 to 4. I hope you get it. Are you certain the prospective spouse is genuinely born again and Holy Spirit baptized? There's an additional element. Sometimes let's talk about being born again, but now he's asking, is the person Holy Spirit baptized? Is a genuine born again? There have been instances where people have followed others to church just to